Okay, this is part 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up some wheelie bars. Wheelie bars are important because what happens, the chassis will want to flex and kind of push back on the end of the your piano wire where the wheelie bars are going to go. So basically what happens is stabilize this area. So what you will do is you will take 2 pieces of wire by cutting what's left over from your piece and basically shape it like this. So that way this part here will go into where the motor mount is, and the other side I bent it up just a hair so that way it will line up with the wheelie bar. So I have cleaned up the corners inside the motor mount in this area here. I've cleaned them up so that way the part that's bent can go inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start tinning my stuff first of all. And this takes a few seconds. A little bit of solder. Wherever you can apply your soldering. I mean a little flux, sorry. And again, clean the tip. Nice clean tip always works really well. Also, if you need to remove any of this stuff, basically you reverse the process, put a little bit of flux, heat it up, and then things will separate for you. It's fairly easy. So now we're going to run a little bit of solder inside the corner. There we go. Make sure it flows nicely. And we're going to apply a first wheelie bar over here. Make sure that it clears the bushing and also the hole on top of the motor mount, because you're going to be putting the tubing through there to mount your body. This might take a couple of steps. So again, more flux. If it's easier, take it out of the fixture so it's maybe easier for you to work with. Get an area where you can actually work a little bit better, set up at whatever angle you think it's going to be comfortable for you. Make sure it stays on the tip. Now we're going to apply just a little bit more flux, clean the tip on the soldering iron, and there we go. And make sure it flows in there nicely. Some of the fellow racers, they don't do that step of bending the wire inside the motor mount, which is fine. You don't have to do it either. It's, you know, everybody's got a choice of doing, you know, things their own way, and that's what makes everybody unique. And as long as it works, why not? There we go. Oh, my tinning didn't hold, so we're going to heat it up again, and there we go. Make sure it's lined up straight and even. Don't forget, use your brush, get all the excess soldering, whatever else is in there, and you can see here. So now, I don't know if you can actually see it, but in here you can see where the piano wire is bent inside the motor mount, and it's soldered here at the tip. So basically it looks like this. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat the same process on the other side. First a little solder, flux, a little tiny bit of solder. After I clean the tip, make sure the tip needs to stay clean at all times. That's what makes things work here. There we go, a bit of solder. Make sure it's flowing nicely in there. Perfect. And then a little bit on the tip. Well, not exactly on the tip, but you'll see where the other one lines up. And then a little bit of solder there. There we go. Then we're going to tin this. A little bit of flux. A little bit of solder. There we go. And now we're going to line it up inside the motor box. Make sure everything's lined up. Make sure no holes get covered with the wire, so it won't interfere with your axle. And now we're going to apply a little bit more flux and a little bit of solder. Ah, didn't work. A little bit more flux. A little tiny bit more flux. Clean the tip again. More solder. And let's get it in there to flow. Real nice and easy. There we go. Let it cool down. And when it grabs, go ahead and put a little bit more flux on your wires where they're going to hook up together. Clean the tip. A bit of solder and just write it on the side. Nice and easy. Make sure you light it up. Push everything down so everything will stay down for a few seconds. And grab your wire brush and start cleaning up everything. And basically now you have a drag racing chassis. As you can see, it's not that difficult and it looks fairly, fairly easy. At this time you can set your wheels on here. And then you can mount your body on, and that will give you an idea where your front axle is going to go. So basically you line up, what you're trying to do is line up the rear wheels inside here, and then you draw a line, and then you decide where your front axle is going to go into correlation with the front fender, so that way everything looks nice and even. Okay, so that's it for here. For further mountain tips and stuff like that, go back to Bracket 500, look for the World Tribute car, and go to that page, and at the bottom you will see what's called the New Zealand build. Go to that page, and Mark and Hannah explain the rest of it with pictures and some text. Good luck. If you got any questions, always drop me an email.